So I've seen a comment from a subscriber. Let's have a look. I might also share this with you. From Blessed591. In Africa, it's part of culture for men to be narcissistic. Many people take this as normal. A good wife will be one who tolerates all the abuse. Thank you, Blessed591. Now, for the most of the black sheeps, we already know how this thing works. You know that there is things you have seen that your parents do or have done, and they have been a continuation of a certain cycle that they apparently thought to be normal, that they have adopted from their ancestors. So you can actually start going back in time, and you will see that your grandparents was doing similar things, even the great-grandparents were doing similar things. So this thing has just kept on being like passed on from generation to generation. I've told you guys, narcissism is a generational cycle, okay? It's a generational curse. So this is a curse that just keeps on passing on from generation to generation over time, until, of course, there is a member of the family that actually breaks that kind of cycle. This person says in Africa, but I would believe it's not necessarily Africa. It may be a lot of many cultures around the world that we are not aware of, or maybe we don't know about. But there is so many cultures around the world that actually have a lot of narcissistic tendencies. They have been breeding narcissists for generations. Okay, you know, you may see your father sometimes doing something, and they may think it's normal. That's what we do because that's what our culture believes or our tradition believes. You know, we have learned this thing from our grandfathers. Your grandfathers used to do the same thing, and you're seeing your father doing the same thing or your mother doing the same thing, and you feel like it is not the right thing. As much as they believe it's the right thing to do, you know it is not the right thing. And that will not make a lot of sense if you don't understand what is narcissism. But the moment you start clicking on what is narcissism, then you understand that actually your father is a narcissist, okay? And even sometimes your mother could be a narcissist. Now, most of the times, if you look around the world, maybe it's not a very common scenario in the Western world, but you can believe that a lot of these traditions and cultures, I've talked in my videos about this kind of subject. These traditional things, belief systems, things that people have been doing over and over again, over time, most of these things are narcissistic. You might find a family, for example, they could believe that a man can say he's going to marry how many wives he wants, you know, because that's what the ancestors used to do. So he can say he's going to marry 5, 6 wives or 10 wives or whatever, or 3 or 4. And for them, they think that's okay. That's what they have learned to do. But even sometimes they cannot take care of those women. And even those women are in those relationships and they are really, really suffering. My mom, I've told you guys, was an empath. Very, very beautiful soul, okay? But I could sometimes see the pain that she would never be able to tell us. Maybe at that time was so small and we couldn't really understand what was going on. But you could feel that there was this pain that she used to endure on a regular basis that she could not explain to us. But she knew that actually this was not a healthy situation, okay? And the same thing applies as well to many different areas of society. It can be sometimes religion. You know, there are some religions which believe it's okay for a man to marry whatever women they want, you know, and they can go ahead and marry 2, 3, 4. And sometimes you have a man who is a narcissist and he has these other women around him, and you know, sometimes those women are going through a lot of pain, a lot of abuse and torture. So I can actually believe that this comment is very powerful because it makes you understand that narcissism is sometimes ancient, okay? This is like learned behavior that has simply been passed on from the previous generations onto the current generations. And if somebody doesn't wake up to break that cycle, it is actually meaning that the cycle is simply going to be repeated in the next generation to come. So you might have other your siblings who will have also their own children, and they are going to also pass on what they have learned from their parents onto those children. And that cycle just keeps on repeating. Narcissism is also a generational cycle, I've told you guys. So it is upon us to understand that, yes, narcissism has been here. Narcissism is ancient, like I've told you. Even in the Bible, you've heard about a lot of these narcissistic kings and queens and all these people that they used to mention in the Bible so many years ago. It has been happening for ages, okay? But I just believe at this point in time, there is something we can do, because at this time we have the information, we have knowledge. So many people are starting to wake up. So many people are starting to realize this has been a sickness. It has been a disease that has been destroying people for generations of years, okay? And somewhere, somehow, it has to be stopped. So we talk about cultures, yes. We talk about religion. We talk about beliefs, faiths. We talk about so many things that have been happening for so many generations of years. And those things have been subconsciously destroying individuals in particular units. I could say, for example, there's religion that they teach. Now, like you guys know, I don't have any problem with religion. I don't have any issues with them. You can be religious if you want to. You can pray to which God you want to. But there are some faiths at this point in time which actually promote narcissism. You can find sometimes pastors or leaders in the church who are actually telling you to do funny, even sometimes stupid things. Even some of those pastors themselves, they are narcissists. I've told you. That thing is also found, narcissism is also found in religion. You might find sometimes pastors. There is things that they are doing. There's a way they behave, there's a way they act. And sometimes you're believing that these people, they are actually narcissistic, even if they may not know that at that point in time. Because you see, when I woke up from the dysfunctional family system, I figured out that actually the narcissistic parent didn't actually know who a narcissist was. So it was that time when I started putting up all these pieces, adding up all these pieces together, and I figured out this person was a narcissist. And maybe in the due course, that's when the narcissistic parent was able to understand what actually narcissism really means. Even if they had been doing so many things over the years that were narcissistic and they couldn't understand these were wrong things, these were not things they were not supposed to do, or they should have stopped doing, but they could not, because this was like a program. This narcissism is like a program. When a person enters that program, it is almost very difficult to break that program, especially if that person is a narcissist, okay? So we have to be aware, ladies and gentlemen. We have to know that for you to be able to break out of all beliefs and systems and, traditional patterns and everything, you have got to be, first of all, come to that awareness of what narcissism really is, because you cannot break something you do not understand. First of all, you need to understand and understand what narcissism is. And now you can be able to make the necessary changes to be able to heal, and even sometimes to heal the people around you. And that's how this whole thing works. So thank you, Blessed, for that comment. It's been a very powerful thing. Narcissism, like I've said, and as we have seen the comment, it has been in family systems, in cultural, traditional beliefs, and it has been usually happening for so many generations of years. Many people was way back in time narcissists. They just did not have the word for it, but they were actually narcissists, okay? And sometimes you don't have to blame them, because is what I'm telling you sometimes, guys, most of the times in my videos. This thing is not personal. When you start to understand this whole narcissism thing and everything, you just have to understand it's not personal. The only thing you have to do is become aware of it and be able to protect yourself and get away and, something like that. And go out there and live your, heal and, live your best life. But it's not a personal thing. So never take this whole thing personal. Like for the most of you guys, the black sheep who are waking up in dysfunctional family systems, don't try to take these things very personal. Don't try to get back at your parents because they are narcissists and everything. Just understand they are narcissists because there was a reason as to how this whole thing started. Okay, it was a seed that was planted in their minds so many years ago, and that's how they have been operating over time. Okay, so let us know what you think about the video, guys, in the comment section below. You guys do know that I do love and appreciate your support. You can always book a session if you want to. You may donate or support my channel if you want to. Everything you need, You will find it in the description below. And until then, I will catch you guys in my next one. Desmos signing out. Much love and blessings. Peace.